Good morning, guys. Happy Tuesday morning. So, by now, pretty much everyone who is alive knows that Fox parted ways with Tucker Carlson. Talked about this yesterday. And of course, you have all the speculation going on overnight as to why, yet we still don't know the real reason. You hear he was fired. We don't have proof of that, though that kind of seems logical. If you take a look at his close on Friday night, he's like, we'll see you Monday, and Monday, of course, he's not there. You hear that it's part of the Dominion settlement that Dominion demanded he get fired. There's no proof to that. You hear that there's pending lawsuits. Bill O'Reilly talked about those. Doubtful, but it might have something to do with it. The lawsuits are he said, she said. And the woman bringing that lawsuit was fired by Fox, so she's got a axe to grind with them. So, that could have nothing. We hear this, Tucker's going to run for president, whatever it is. None of us know, okay? Tucker hasn't made a statement yet, so we don't know what his side of the story is. And like everything else in the news media, you can't jump on just what you hear first, because how often are they wrong, right? What I can say, though, is the losers in all of this are you and me, okay? Because Tucker was one of the last people in the media who would go out and challenge the narrative, wouldn't just blindly follow like 81 million people do in this country, apparently. Whatever the media tells them is correct, okay? He was an objective, investigative reporter and would look deeper than here, okay? You look at some of the personalities that have left Fox in the last years. I mean, you had, let's see, Bill O'Reilly, Megyn Kelly, Glenn Beck, Eric Bolling, Chris Matthews, not that he was, Chris Wallace, not that he was any great shakes or anything like that. But with the exception of Chris Wallace, they've all landed on their feet, I think Bill O'Reilly's doing okay. I think Glenn Beck's doing okay. And none of them could hold a candle to what Tucker holds now. Okay. I think Tucker will be okay. Where he winds up is going to be interesting. Saw stories that Glenn Beck has said, come on over to the Blaze. Somehow we'll figure out how to pay you. That would be great. Okay. Apparently News Nation thinks that they're going to be able to hire both Don Lemon and Tucker. They'll have to take substantial pay cuts. Don't see that happening. Okay. Tucker could go, here's my new Rumble channel, and have 4 million subscribers in about 24 hours. Okay. Or look at James O'Keefe, who started the O'Keefe Media Group after his outing at Project Veritas. Everybody followed him over. Tucker's got a lot bigger following. Okay, there is probably nobody in the media who has a more loyal following than Tucker. I mean, here's an interesting tidbit for you. Okay, Tucker had more Democrats watch him than the number one liberal late night person, Rachel Maddow, had watching her. Okay, more Democrats wanted to hear from Tucker than they wanted to hear from the number one leading liberal mouthpiece. Okay, figure that. Interesting little fact there for you. You look at what's been said. Schumer went back. Chuck Schumer said, if you go back a few weeks, Congress has an obligation to tell Fox News what they can and cannot say. AOC just the other day calling for his ouster. Okay. Do you see the writing on the wall? Can you look past all the distractions, the fluff, the thing? This has all the writings of the 2024 election on it and manipulation by the Uniparty. Okay. The Uniparty does not want Donald Trump, and every day it looks more and more increasingly likely that Donald Trump will probably get the Republican nomination. I mean, DeSantis hasn't even announced, and he's slipping. Okay. His trip to Europe was a debacle. His signing of the heartbeat bill didn't go over too well. Every other candidate who is announced is barely staying above water. Okay, ooh, look, I have 2% support. Well, congratulations, that's your family. Okay, because nobody else is supporting Nikki Haley or Asa Hutchinson or I mean, Vivek Ramaswamy is probably the only one that's talking with any bit of sense. So what you have is the Uniparty trying to silence any voice that will be anti-Joe Biden, okay? Because we all know MSNBC and CNN and stuff like that will carry Biden's waters to the ends of the earth, okay? He's the greatest president ever, right? Okay. So this is all an attempt, election interference, okay, manipulation. If you can't get the news, can't get the truth, you don't know. I mean, use 2020 as an example. They buried the laptop story. They created the fake Steele dossier. I mean, what was a negative toward Biden, they buried. What was made up to help Biden, they published, okay? This is the beginning. What you're seeing now is the death of the media, period, okay? You had a CEO of, I think it was NBC, fired for sexual improprieties. You had Don Lemon get fired, okay? How long, I mean, y'all know that the mainstream media companies are, all of them, I mean, whether it's network or whether it's cable, are hemorrhaging money and losing people like crazy. Why? Because you and me, the people, don't trust them at all, okay? I mean, none. And, when people are more interested in getting news from Twitter, God, okay, than they are from a respectable source, that tells you there aren't any respectable sources left. This is where the change has to be. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. But I'm sorry, putting Brian Kilmeade in Tucker's spot yesterday, that was a freaking joke. All right. Put somebody in there. I mean, you go from probably the most competent investigative journalist in the history of news in Tucker, and you use a comedian, a bad one at that, as a fill-in. Right. Okay. I mean, there is nobody in the bullpen. I mean, there was nobody that could compete with Tucker anyway. Okay. I mean, Hannity and Laura Ingraham look like, single A ball players, and Tucker's the major league. There is nobody that can fill in. I mean, Jesse Waters was the big fill in, I mean, okay, Jesse's grown a little bit, but he ain't anywhere close to the league of Tucker. But this is what the deep state is doing. This is what the Uniparty is doing. They are trying to silence any voice that will upset their little apple cart. I mean, and again, I don't care which side of the fence you're on. 95% of the people in Congress aren't worth spit. And obviously Biden's 100% not worth spit. But their only concern is themselves. Finding quality information is going to be more difficult and more difficult and more difficult. What's going to happen is you're going to have the independent journalists, the James O'Keefes, the Andy Knows. Those are the only ones that are going to give you the truth. You know, Project Veritas is going to die. All right. I mean, James O'Keefe was Project Veritas. Tucker Carlson was Fox News. Okay. They lost, what, $1 billion in market share yesterday. That must go over really well after losing $900 million in a lawsuit. Good management there, guys. But I say this many, many, many times. When you hear a story, dig deeper, because this is how totalitarian governments take over. They control the narrative. And that's exactly what's going on. The Biden administration, Chuck Schumer, AOC, yada, yada, the whole Democrat Party, they want to completely control the narrative. If you don't know the truth, how can you act upon what they tell you? They'll tell you everything's wine and roses. Oh, we've got inflation under control. Oh, inflation's transitory. Oh, this is the best economy ever, until you go to the grocery store, right? That's what you're looking at. Watch to see where Tucker falls. He'll land on his feet, I have no doubt. But the mainstream media and cable news is dead. We'll see how long it takes for a lot of them to just close the doors. Who's going to be the next shoe to drop? It wouldn't surprise me to see a Maria Bartiromo, Jesse Waters, a Sean Hannity, a Laura Ingraham, a Rachel Maddow, an Anderson Cooper. Pick a channel. Start falling by the wayside, and they're going to bring in a bunch of nobodies. Because whether you're principled right, whether you're principled left, either way, anybody with principles that does not kowtow to the way this particular administration thinks, they're on the chopping block. We'll see you later. Pinball out.